You might have heard it said before, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. And that's an ancient Chinese proverb that still rings true to this day. And anything in life, the longer we wait to start something or accomplish something, the further away that dream or desire gets with the reality of time. And the longer it takes for us to start something, the longer it takes to bring that about. And if we look at the time we're in now, with everything that's transpired the last few years, where there's been a lot of controlling factors around our time, then today is really a great day to start something new. And let me preface this by saying something new doesn't necessarily need to be a business venture. It might just be a hobby or revisiting an interest you might have had neglected over the years. It could be taking steps towards better health or learning something new. For me, this year, it's going to be about putting more emphasis on this YouTube channel. And if you're new here, my name is Michael and I'm a filmmaker and director of photography from Melbourne, Australia. And I started this YouTube channel as a way to give back to the YouTube community. But I've got this gut feel about this channel and what I believe it could be in 10 years or so. So I have to start taking it more seriously, and I'm excited to see what that could become. So here are my top tips to starting now. And this is what I remind myself of at the start of my year, and also what I did on a much bigger scale a few years back when I left design engineering to pursue a career in video production. And back then I had no real video production skills, no business experience, and no one was giving me a handout to get things going. No one in my family was all that entrepreneurial either, yet these principles I'm about to share with you in this video are what got me where I am today. Having bootstrapped my entire company myself and taking it all the way from zero to consistently doing over 6 figures annually in just a few short years. So let's get into it. The first thing I think you need to start today is simply this: believe you can do it. And this idea may come to you in different forms. You may have heard it said before, just believe in yourself. Trust your gut. Believe you're worth it. And whilst all of that is good to a certain degree, the truth is the first thing you need to do above all else is believe that you can do something more than what you're doing today. And for me, there was something deep within me that said, no matter the outcome, no matter if I fail, no matter what others may say, I believe in myself enough to give this new thing a go. And if I pursue it, maybe I can achieve more of what's in my heart to do. That was it. Such a simple thought, but it came about because I actually believed I could. And others might say, give yourself permission. It's kind of like that when you think about it. Believing you can allows you to take the necessary steps and figure things out as you go. If you don't believe you can do something, the likelihood of success goes way down. Failure might happen, but as you continue to believe you can do something, you will always find a way forward. The second thing I think that is really important to allow you to start today is number 2, take your first step or your next step. Now, this could be a small step. Like in the beginning of my journey into photography and film, this was to reach out to an Instagram friend of mine named Gareth and ask if I could tag along with him on one of his landscape shoots. Then fast forward 18 months after that time I went with him, the next massive leap for me was to leave engineering and to pursue a short-term role as a producer. And I think the role was only 6 months or so. I hadn't really done anything remotely like that before, but I thought to myself, if I don't take this leap now, I don't know if I ever will. And it was a very exciting time for me, but a daunting time as well. And I really didn't know at the time that it was going to work out as well as it has for me. But let me pause here for just a second and ask you this: what is the next step for you? The third thing I think that is really important for you to start today is 3, focus your attention. Your attention is so very powerful. And if more of us understood this to its fullest, I think there'd probably be no such thing as a hit TV series, a viral video, or even a TikTok influencer. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit. But it was Stephen Aitchison who said this: money flows where the attention goes. And that is especially true of our own attention. If we place our attention and fully immerse ourselves into a hobby like cycling, for example, to the level with which we are able to afford it, we'll buy that new bike. We'll have the latest gear, and we'll certainly have a wristwatch that can track our cadence and our heart rate. It's just the way it works. So there's a conscious effort when starting something new to focus our attention on that new thing. And we let our time and resources and our finances flow into that new thing. I think of myself when I started my journey into photography and video. I focused my attention on researching for the best camera to help me get started, and I watched all these videos on it. And so before I even had the finances to purchase the camera, which ended up being the 7D, by the way, I pretty much knew everything about how to use it. I knew what it was capable of. I knew a lot of people who were using it around the world, and I knew who I could connect with if I ran into any problems. So you see, it was the power of my attention, my focus, that led me to put time, effort, energy, and resources into my first big purchase that became the catalyst for me moving into video production and my photography career. So now back to the attention thing I mentioned before. Imagine if you turned off your television, stopped scrolling or posting so much on Instagram, stopped seeing what the TikTok influencer was doing, or didn't care about the next new product on YouTube. Imagine if you just solely focused on the dream that was inside of you. You would certainly reach your goal much quicker. One thing I've realized in building my own business is the fact that if I don't grow, then my business will just plateau. And I've seen that in the past in different seasons when I've been distracted by other things. In order for my business and my influence and for me to become successful, really, I need to focus on my own personal growth. And there's no two ways about it. It's an important part of being able to start today and to take your first step. This whole point about focusing our attention really is dovetailed in with this next point, which is number 4, trim the fat. Now, what do I mean by fat? Well, this is anything and everything in our lives which isn't leading us towards our next step. Here's the thing, right? It's your life. So why wouldn't you get serious about the direction that you want it to go in and remove the barriers and things holding you back? Maybe it's as simple as canceling Netflix to give you more time to think, turning off Instagram, putting your phone away and stop binging shorts, stop buying cookies, stop blaming other people, stop listening to the naysayers who tell you you won't succeed. Cutting the fat is really powerful in this way. And one of the things I did in this area was charging my phone in the office instead of in my bedroom. And it's such a simple change, but I left a book on my bedside table instead. And after not being a born reader, I'm really not great at reading, but I started to be able to read a book about every month. Just picking up a book instead of my phone when I wake up in the morning means I can read about 12 books a year. It's been a real game changer for me. So what is that for you? What are the things that you can cut out of your daily routine that aren't leading you to start today? The last thing I think that is so important to start today, number 5, rise to the occasion. Dale Carnegie said it well. It's only when necessity faces us that we rise to the occasion and actually do the things that hitherto would seem impossible. When we take a step and are faced with a challenge, giving no other option but to rise to the occasion, you'll be astonished at what you can achieve. One of those situations for me was the Riviera video for one of my builder clients, and to this day it is one of their premier pieces of content that still gets thousands of views every year. Up until recently, they really were the premier builder in Australia, and for me to say that I developed this piece of content for them, I came up with the concept, I carried out the shoot with my good friend Sam Friganese. I edited it into the final piece that you can still see today on their socials. It's just astonishing that I was able to achieve something like this so early in my business journey. It's really interesting because I didn't necessarily have the skills to pull it off in the beginning. The client took a chance on me and I delivered over and above even my own expectations of what I believed was possible with their limited budget at that time. So what about you? What's the first step or perhaps the next step? What could this year be like if you just committed to starting today? So let's recap. Number 1, believe you can. Number 2, take your first step. Number 3, focus your attention. Number 4, trim the fat. And number 5, rise to the occasion. So let me leave you with this challenge. What are you waiting for? Start today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did get something out of it, please hit that like button below and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.